this video is about quadratic functions. I'm going to find out what is a quadratic function. You'll recognise the shape of a quadratic graph, and we'll look at translations, that's moving up and down of quadratic graphs, and reflection in the x-axis of quadratic graphs. So this is the shape of a quadratic function. So the equation of this red curve is y equals x squared. So a quadratic function has x squared. X squared is in a quadratic. So if you see an equation or a function with x squared, even if it has some other things, it's a quadratic. So we're going to look at the coordinates of the red curve. It goes through 0, 0. This is 1 along and 1 up. So that's 1, 1. 2 along, 4 up. And then 3 along, 9 up. The next one's off the screen. We can also look at what happens on the other side. If it goes to -1 and then 1 up, that's coordinate -1, 1. Then -2, 4. And then -3, 9. So the x and y coordinates are related because y equals x squared. So we can draw a table to show you the x and the y coordinates. The x coordinates that I've got there are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3 in order. So if we square them to find y, -3 squared is 9, -2 squared is 4, -1 squared is 1, 0 squared is 0, and then the same here, 1, 4, 9. So that's the relationship between x and y, as y equals x squared. So the y coordinates are squared, x squared. So that's the most basic quadratic function. Now I've drawn the same quadratic function in red. The red one is y equals x squared, and the blue one, it's not going through 0, 0, 0 this time, it's going through 0, 1. 0, 1 is its coordinate. And then the next coordinate is 1, 2. The next coordinate is 2, 5. Got some coordinates on the other side, -1, 2, and then -2, 5. So I'm going to write down some of the coordinates from y equals x squared that we had on the previous page. We had -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1, and 2, 4. But now there's been a translation. It's been moved upwards, up, and the new coordinates are -2, 5, -1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 5. So the blue graph is x squared add 1. So that's a translation, which means it's been moved up 1. So the number at the end is how much it's been moved up. X squared, if it's add 1, that means up 1. You can change that number if we have add 2, it's moved up 2. If it's subtract 1, it's moving down. So we can see the y coordinates. That used to be 4. Oops. Now you're adding 1 on to the y values. So it's all moved up. Okay, we'll look at these two graphs. In red, again, that's y equals x squared. And the blue one this time has been moved down 1, 2 boxes. So that's x squared subtract 2. So this subtract 2 means it's been moved down 2. This green graph is the same quadratic but upside down. So the equation for this one, instead of y equals x squared, we put negative in here. So that graph has been reflected in the x-axis. So it's a reflection in the x-axis. There's x and there's y. So instead of going a happy face, it's a sad face upside down. So that's what this negative does. The negative there tells you it's reflected in the x-axis. Now we've got the same green parabola, y equals negative x squared, and the purple one has been moved up 3. So the purple equation, we can start it off as the same negative x squared because it's got the same shape as the green parabola, but it's been moved up 3. So plus 3. So I called that shape a parabola. So that's the name for the shape of a quadratic graph. Or a quadratic function. So to summarize, quadratic functions always have x squared, so y equals x squared is a quadratic. Even if you have a function that's got other stuff involved, even if it's 2x squared, subtract 3x plus 1, just made one up there, it's got other things involved, but it's got the x squared, so that's still a quadratic. Even if it's got negative x squared and some other stuff, the highest power of x is x squared, so it's a quadratic. The shape of these is a parabola. So if you're going to sketch them, either it looks like this or like this. This one might be x squared, so that's a positive in front of the x squared. This one is like the upside down one, so that's got negative x squared. We have some other terms. Then you've got your translations. If you have x squared, add a number. So this can be add a constant c. That means it moves up by c. Whatever that number is, it's gone up. And if it has x squared, subtract c. That means it goes down by c number of boxes.